Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target Morning Brief for Invest with Autopilot Precision on a daily basis. Today, we're going to talk about Cathie Wood and China stocks. You know, it wasn't like a week ago, or maybe it was 2 weeks, but it wasn't that long ago when we ran an entire program on Cathie Wood giving up on the Chinese stocks. She sold out all of them, said it's uninvestable. Well, guess what? She's back. We talked 2 days ago when some of the big Chinese names moved higher. Is the bottom in? And I told you I think so. And I think she's coming out this morning saying the same thing, or at least I haven't heard her say it, but certainly her money is saying it by the fact that she's moving back into JD and 10 Cent Holdings. Those two are called out specifically. I haven't heard her talk about K-Web or BABA, my favorites, but it's probably not far behind. But both of them are holding up nicely off of the big move up that they had the other day. So we're going to peel that back today. We're going to look at those charts and again, look at some of the names. Also, if you remember back in July, we got a notice in the mail. I think everybody did about over-the-counter China, overseas over-the-counter holdings that at a certain point in time, you would not be able to sell, or you'd not be able to buy them. You can only sell them. You couldn't even sell half. You had to sell all of it. You can only do closing position sales orders. Well, guess what? August 31st is that date. So, Luckin Coffee has magically survived up to this point. I don't know how. That's when I left. Luckin Coffee is not really over China trauma. It was over the fact that it's going to, it's over the counter here in the US. And I don't, it's on the list. So I don't see how it doesn't sell off hard, as the August 31st approaches, which is not that far away, right? So, but again, I'll be watching it more out of curiosity than anything. And then I don't think we can buy back in. I think it's against SEC rules at that point. So it's kind of interesting because I haven't really seen that in the open market environment that we have, where, buyer beware, invest at your own risk. That's what we're built upon. That's called capitalism. And that's how you can make a lot of money, is by taking the risk and then being rewarded for it when you're right. So it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. So, but that's what we're going to talk about today is China stocks. Again, I know, try not to beat a dead horse with the China stocks, but I do think they're back. And I think now's the time for you to hop in. All right. The question of the day is going to be IRS Form 990T. This is a new one on me. That if you hold a large position of master limited partnerships, so when you think MLPs, think energy investments, think pipelines, those are the sort of things that are master limited partnerships. I largely stay away from those unless you're in retirement. And sometimes I'm in those for the income that generates, kick off that 6-7% dividend, which is nice if you're living off dividends. But if you hold those inside of an IRA, there's a limit to the amount of income that they can kick off inside of your IRA before you're taxed on it. And the the issue with this is when they go to take those taxes, when the IRS taxes you on this, again, the company generates a Form 99T, sends it to the IRS. The IRS reaches out to your brokerage account and takes the money. I have not ever seen that. I'm not the most experienced guy in the world, but literally, 7 years counts for something. And I've just never heard of this. Now I do. Okay, I get it. Yep, accounts are getting bigger for sure. But so I haven't tripped the trigger before. But certainly that's something to bring into my cross check. Particularly in this case, it's New Star Energy ticker NS is one that did that, and they reach out IRS direct to a brokerage account to take taxes, and we asked the CPA, and the CPA is like, amateurs, no, it's not me, it's you guys, right? And it's like, what? Never heard of this. So anyhow, I'm getting a lot smarter on that since I just had a client go through it, and they're not happy, right? So I didn't put them in that master limited partnership, but just saying. But anyhow, that's we're going to talk about that today a little bit, so at least you're aware that it's there. And of course, I need to run a screener on all my accounts to make sure that this doesn't happen, because it's unnecessary, right? There's always something else. Okay, it's kind of like the K1 thing. If you don't like K1s, then don't invest in K1 companies. So figure out what they are, screen your accounts, and then get them out, right? And then you don't have to deal with K1s. All right, long VVOS for today and AMRX. Those are, VVOS is not a company I'd heard of, but they are in a co-op with Empower Sleep about sleep apnea, which again, is a problem anyway. And then, of course, it is linked to weight, not one for one. But as we get bigger as Americans, more people having sleep apnea. I have it. I use a CPAP machine. So as we go down this road, they're talking about different cures for sleep apnea out there, so people don't have to hook up to machines, which feels like you're in the hospital every night. But anyhow, that's where we look at long. That's a good news story. And again, the short stories out there are all earnings. That's Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and Burlington Factory. Those are all your discount retailers. They're being hit with freight costs. Is the issue. So they beat earnings. You're going to see that. You're going to see good numbers, but they're saying we can't sustain this because, Dollar Tree, right? Dollar General, they're selling stuff on the cheap, and their shipping costs are getting hit hard with inflation. So, that's a big issue for them. So again, they guided down. That's why all three of them are selling off across the board. All right. That's what I've got for you today. If you're checking us out on replay, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when this goes live every day, about 9:30 or so here in the central time frames by the time I get it uploaded. And if you want to join us live, it's $25 a month to come in the room, and you can have a Q&A session and a chat session, which you can reach out to me, ask me anything you want, and I'll answer you real time. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, welcome back, everyone. Here is the lineup card for today, Thursday, August 26th. Time is just moving on. Somebody's got a birthday coming up. Yep, that's me. I do here in a few days. All right, standard disclaimer applies this morning. This is a financial education presentation. You have to do your own due diligence for acting upon anything you hear this morning. Full disclaimer information is available at ototnow.com. All right, mission objectives: grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Specifically today, talking about growing our money. The Chinese stocks have been a house of pain. You've heard me talk about them probably at least once a week on the show for the past, 3 months. Maybe you're sick of hearing it. But again, when, I do pay attention to that, but I also pay attention. So I don't run the same topics over and over, but I also obviously get all the analytics from the channel. And every time I put out a China video, there's like 50 views, right? So it's kind of what people are tuning in for, at least, or maybe I'm getting known. I got teased by one of my clients being the Chinese whisperer. That was back in the Luck and Coffee days. We were heavy into that, but that's what we're going to talk about today. And of course, Cathie Wood, when she makes major moves in the market, that makes, CNBC style headlines. So we kind of have to talk about it, especially when she's in my domain. Okay, I don't own the domain, but when she and I are talking about the same thing, that's obviously a positive that we're tuned into the same space. So Cathie Wood and China stocks. We're going to talk about growing our money there. Question of the day, we talked about the Form 9990T. We'll get back to that. Flow for today will be long, short, open, short, long. We're going to talk about the market review, headline review, have a jobs number this morning, but everything is kind of flat. It's been kind of a flat week, if you will. Long-term investments we'll take a look at. We'll take a look at the two that Cathie Wood is investing in, is JD and Tencent. Talk about my two faves, K-Web and Baba, and then Luck and Coffee. We'll see if it starts selling off because that August 31st date is coming soon. Contingencies and academic resources are standard. Let's take a look at TD Ameritrade ThinkPipes platform. This is how we're going to be set up for the day trading portion. Had a nice trade yesterday. It did close out within a few minutes of leaving air, so I posted it separately as a trade yesterday. But here's what we've got. You've got the standard four screens. You have the S&P 500 off the left. Down a little bit, but again, pretty slight. And again, after we hit new record highs yesterday, then you got VVOS as our only long, and then Dollar Tree and Dollar General set up for the shorts. As far as where we are, we talked about new highs. Yep, 4 or 5 green, candlesticks higher. So here we are, new highs again. I act like that's bad. It's not. It's just, just realize markets tend to hit new highs if nothing's going on, and nothing really is going on. Market does not care about Afghanistan. The market is somewhat celebrating the fact that we might be passing a budget bill, infrastructure bill. There is some hidden tax stuff in there, but it doesn't affect anybody making below 400,000. So, doesn't affect a whole lot of people, but it does affect some. But I think that's probably a gateway into some real serious tax reform towards the end of the year. That's the pivot point. So that's what we're looking out for. All right. Zooming in here a little bit for the 5-day. Let's GoDaddy up there. Let's put SPY in real quick and kind of see that even though that's more than a 5-day. So here's the big move up we've had. It's like a 20-day. Big move up here, kind of zoomed in on that. But really, you take out that dip, and this is almost a straight line up for, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. So overall, market strong. You do not have to lay awake at night worrying about it. All right, let's take a look at CNBC and the headlines that are out there. Refresh these for you so you can see we're split here at the open and not much moving there as far as Europe. In the red across the board, but again, pretty light. Asia split. We got China and Hong Kong down over 1% there. Bonds actually bumped up a little bit here, up to 1.35. It's been closer to 1.25 lately. Oil continuing to sell off a little bit. Gold, silver selling off just a touch, and then crypto selling off this morning. All right, back to the headlines here. Caesars got an upgrade. That was good. So did Roblox. That's nice. And Alphabet. We own Roblox and Alphabet. Do not own Caesars, and we're out of win. That was a failed experiment there. Did not make any money. All right. There's the jobless claims right around right around what was expected, and GDP revised higher to 6.6%. I mean, that's an amazing number. So that's what's carrying the market's higher, right? It's a good, strong GDP number. I'm looking for the Cathie Wood headline for China stocks. TikTok did change a policy. They kind of booted their crypto people off of their platform for a while, but they're coming around. So you can see more crypto on TikTok now. So you can see how to make millions overnight, because that's obviously the way to do it. Why would you have a long-term investing game plan when you could just do it overnight, right? Okay, so let's go to, that was a joke if you didn't catch that. Sarcasm. All right, let's take a look at the, get to the right page here, FinViz. Let's take a look at JD.com. This is Cathie Wood's favorite China stock. So again, you see the bottom forming, bouncing off down here and then going back up. When you look at Tencent Holdings, which I like Tencent Holdings better myself, you have to go to FinViz. So we're going to pass on that. We'll look at Alibaba. So all the way, it had this nice gap up and then sold off a little bit yesterday, about 1% or so, not too much. K-Web we'll take a look at. Same thing, nice move up on that 10% day, and it kind of sold off a little bit. And then we will, since I have a few seconds here, to go over to Yahoo, Tencent Holdings. Take a look at that if we could hit with the chart real quick. And let's do a 1 month. Yeah, let's do 6 months. So sold off, looks like the bottom's in there. So again, that's why she's kind of calling the bottom here and telling folks that she is investing in it. All right, give me a second. I need to get set up for the market open. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target play of the day. We have a few seconds for the market opens today, Thursday, August 26th. Here we go. There's the opening bell. You have 4 screens in front of you. You have the S&P over here to the left on a 1-minute chart. You have our long for the day is VVOS. That's a sleep company that's working partnering with somebody on sleep apnea fix. You have Dollar Tree, DLTR selling off, and Dollar General selling off. I like the shorts better here than the longs. We got to watch out for volume, though. They're a little lower than we like, but it's certainly tradable. We'll keep an eye on it. We're looking at taking both these shorts. Maybe the long pans out. I don't know. We're not even going to spend too much time on it. But again, we're going to kind of let things set up. Our trade yesterday was perfect. It was a long, because the reason it was perfect is it just sold off, and then we captured that bottom, right? There's some risk there because you are taking a little bit of an educated guess at where the bottom forms, but it sold off enough on such a good story that we're able to draw that line and then capture the 3 R's to the upside fairly easy. All right. From a price point, DLTR is a little easier to trade, so that's why I'm focusing on this one. About $1 stop. High of the day would be 97.80. We kind of need this to come up higher a little bit before it sells off to make our numbers. But it's such a dud, though, as far as a company to invest in, that I kind of feel comfortable shaving it a little bit here. Let's go 97.5 as the high of the day, and then we'll enter it with, and hopefully this goes higher. Okay, this is good news. Okay, 98, we use $1.98, and then 98 is our above our high of the day, and then 97 is our entry point. Zoom in here a little bit. So again, looking at 97 entering to the downside short. Waiting for it to hit before we're in. There we hit and it's in. All right, have an extra line in here messing up my chart, but we're taking this down. This is a short DLTR. We're in at 97. We're covering above the high of the day all the way up here at 98 even. And then it's got to go 96 is 1R. Then down to 95 is 2R. See if we can get it down here. Nope, it's off the chart. 95 is 2R, and then you're out at 94. So overall in the day, that'd be down about 11% is what we're looking for on the DLTR story. So zoom back in here since we got nothing else. But you like all that red that you're seeing there, so that's good. So again, in at 97, you can still take it here. And then out if it flips and goes long above the long of the day, you can almost go 97.75 above the high of the day. And that would change our math. Let's do that. This is a drawing debacle now. Now let's just leave it. I don't want to draw it all out. But if you want to do this in your mind or on your own chart, you could shrink the R to 75 cents and then just get out if it hits 97.75. So you have to do that math on your own. All right, let's take a look. Dollar General, that'd have been tough to cover the high of the day there just because that spiked up so high. Let's look at some other names out there. Vivos is doing fine long. That's 5-cent stop. That's about a 4-hour move right there. So rocking right along. Let's see what else we have in our stories here. Burlington BURL. Lower volume just due to this higher price point. It really hasn't moved much. And our other long that didn't really have the volume was TITN. I can't remember what they do, but it was an earnings. I wrote that down. This was a long. It looks like it's not long at all. It was up in here, but it was on pretty low volume. So you see, I only had a few thousand. And that's why you don't trade stuff that's low volume, right? It just doesn't hold. All right, back to our trade. DLTR short, we're in at 97. It is working. We're getting that cascading down there on the candlestick. So overall, pretty pleased with that. Let's flip over and talk about some long-term investing stuff, and then we will get back to our chart here in a minute for the day trade. All right, Clickstream up 12%, have Zoom up almost 5%, CRM beat earnings. That's why you're seeing them up 4%. DD, one of the China names out there, up 2.5%. Palantir up, FireEye up, moving up off of Palo Alto Networks. And there's some big headlines in cyber. If you saw, the government spending, billions in cybersecurity, right? Because they have to. And that's the right thing. I have a cybersecurity policy, so I pay as well. So if I'm paying, and the big government's paying, everybody in between, which is most people, are having to pay too. Blackstone up nicely. CRISPR Therapeutics, Pfizer. Okay, a lot of big names that we normally follow are up nicely. Let's see who's in the red today. AMC still have a client holding on to the meme stock there. MSTR is down because Bitcoin's down. Sony's down. Don't have a reason for that. There's BABA. So that's weird. You have DD up and BABA down. That's generally they travel together. And of course, we don't follow Luckin anymore. We have to type it in. We don't own it. Seeing if the selling is started. Guess what? No, the selling is not started. It's basically flatlining across the board. I would have to. I don't see how that could not sell off. And you can't go in and short it because you're not going to be able to trade it, right? Because you can't buy it back. So you'd be literally the village idiot if you short it here, even though it's going down, but if you can't put a buy order into to close out the position, right? So I'd imagine they wouldn't let you even if you wanted to. Okay, let's go back and check on our trades. Overall, not much moving down. That's huge positions, BABA, but outside of that, our long-term plan is to hold that. Okay, let's go back and check our trade, see how Dollar Tree is doing. All right, we're in at 97. So I'm gonna extend this line across here so we can see it. We're in at 97, so we're in the green. We're up money right now, about half an hour. So we'll check back on that after we're done talking about the 990T. All right, boring, I know, so I won't be long on this, and it doesn't affect that many people. But if you remember the Tax Cut and Jobs Act that Trump came up with in 2017, he put out some policies in there that created some flow through entities, and it changed the taxation on things. And actually, it helped little guys like me that have small businesses below. I forget what the revenue thing was or employee number, but anyhow, small businesses, there were some gains there. Well, one of them that he came up with, this is unrelated business taxable income. So I'm not going to go into too much detail other than it exists. It's regularly generated by a tax exempt entity. Also, it can come out of these master limited partnerships. That I don't truly have my brain around, so I won't try to pretend like I do. But after you read through all of this, what you're getting down here is, and I do have to look at this because once I start giving distributions out of our LLC here at AnchorStar Wealth to the shareholders, there's either going to be a K1 or possibly this 990T coming out. So again, I'll have to hire a CPA at that point to make sure that I do things correctly. But I don't have to worry about it until that point. But here's your 990T, an exempt organization that has $1,000 or more of gross income must file an additional tax with the IRS called a Form 99T. When I saw this in the client account, it was like, what? This is obviously wrong, right? It's obviously wrong. Because there's no way, New Star Energy is a tax exempt organization, and there's just, everything about it was wrong. Upon further review, you can see it in this exact situation where it is inside of an IRA. So I'm like, all right, well, let's go to the source, right? When you can't understand it, you go right to the IRS, and there is a page here for you to learn more on the Form 990T, which evidently I can't say. But here's all the things that covers here. And the weird part about it is it comes right. The company files the form, they file it to your brokerage, and the brokerage reaches into your IRA account, takes money and sends it to the IRS. That doesn't even sound like it should be legal in America, but it is. And, if you're not paying attention, literally, if you're not looking at these things, you would not notice it. Right? If you're not looking at your transaction log, and it's not a large amount to where it would move the needle on your net worth or anything, literally $1,000 might go, and you might not even know that it happened. So anyhow, that's all I want to say about that issue. If you want to learn more, again, here's the IRS.gov 990T information if you want to learn more. All right, let's check our trade. Then I'm going to close out for today. All right, trades in the green at 97. Again, 96 is your first R point. It has touched that 95, the next one, and you're out at 94. So again, setting your higher limit at 98, lower limit at 94. If you want to shrink it down, well, if you did shrink it down, you've been out, right? So 97, 75, that would not have worked. But hey, it's starting to move here while we're talking about it. So now you're up an R, but yeah, just let this thing slowly fall throughout the day. I don't think people are going to wake up today and say, now's the time to buy Dollar Tree after they just said they can't maintain their earnings because of inflation and shipping costs. So anyhow, I think it's a nice, safe bet. I will close it out later on today. With that, that's all I've got, and we'll see you guys back tomorrow morning. Bye.